Well, hi there. I'm Cindy Dole.
Hey, I'm Eric Stromer.
And we're home wizards. And what's that? Well, we'd like to make you feel good about the places where you live, the place you call home, inside and outside. And let's face it, none of us have enough storage.
No, storage is critical, isn't it? And especially, too, as I think we're trying to always acquire more and more and more stuff. And what happens, you outgrow your house. And I've actually seen so many people move because they feel like they've run out of space. But guess what? You move into a larger home, you acquire more stuff. So it ends up being not a problem of that you don't have enough room. It's that you got to get rid of a lot of stuff, obviously.
It's in your head, basically.
Yeah, it's kind of in your head. Well, it follows you like a bag of Santa's, little toys in a bag. It's all your own stuff,
But
right?
like we ladies who have purses.
Yeah.
I've always,
you have to have more purses.
Well, not only do we like to have a lot of purses and shoes, and that's a whole nother show. But the thing is, I really envy women who are able to keep it in these really small, almost like, the size of just their credit card, and it's just envelope size purse. But if you go bigger, then you keep needing bigger, just like your house.
That's it. That's
and then
right.
like cars or boats or whatever. It just seems like we keep going bigger.
Yeah, so I think the first thing to do is always consider alternative areas for storage and creative ways to make it either integrate design-wise or functionality-wise. So, for example, something like, the idea of storage under a bed. It's a great first step, because it's oftentimes underutilized. People don't think of a place to put stuff underneath the bed. So they sell these great pullouts that can become drawers, essentially, that are sealed. The critical element when you do underbed storage is to realize that they're going to get dust bunnies like crazy. That's where all the dander from the pets and from you sleeping in the bed and the dust that comes from the floor and the air conditioning unit are all going to collect and settle under there. So unless it's sealed thoroughly, either with like a Tupperware system or a system that has a drawer with casters on it, don't put stuff under the bed. You got to make sure that it's sealed from the elements. So
and
that's
protected. Yeah.
But think about it. It's if it's a king size bed, that's a 6 foot by 6 foot area, 36 square feet of unused storage that you haven't thought of before.
Right.
So take a look at that. There's great solutions online at the Container Store. Any place that sells organizational solutions will have something for that very purpose.
So it's a slender thing. It's a slender box.
And sometimes you actually have to build your bed up a bit. You've got to put
risers
platforms or risers underneath the wheels of the bed frame to get it up high enough to accommodate that.
And I've seen that for like dorm rooms too. Like a lot of times, when you go to college, there is no opportunity for storage and you're in this little teeny tiny shoebox.
That's exactly right.
And I think also like at the organization stores, they sell those little risers to not only, lift up the bed safely, but give you that area to put in those
That's exactly
things.
right, yeah. The other thing that I think is critical too is storage for toys for kids. I mean, oftentimes, and I know I have this same exact situation. I made a toy box, and the toy box quickly fills up with stuffed animals. So then what happens to the little figurines or the Barbie dolls or the Ken dolls, whatever you have? A great idea is to get one of those shoe holders that you hang on the back of a closet door, and it ends up being these little sacks, if you will, of areas where you can put figurines, dolls, Legos in all these different pockets, and that's unused storage that you never think of, the back of a door inside of a closet. So think about that as an option for the toy stuff, especially Legos. Also, little Bionicle pieces or Legos, great if you have fishing tackle boxes that have traditional lures in them and things like that, or toolboxes, little handheld toolboxes. You can use a Sharpie, put Lego on it, and that's where all the pieces go. Even art supplies, same thing. A place where they can all concentrically end up, in this one spot. The problem is for the drawing and the art supplies is that it gets all over the house, paints dry out, brushes aren't washed, and before you know it, it's out of control and you're buying them 30 times. So find a way to store each thing individually in a stackable system, like a tackle box or a little mini toolbox that you can put up in the closet in their room. You can see on the side what you've written on it. It says art supplies.
Right.
Good way to do it.
In terms of like some built-in storage, there's so many cool-looking things. I mean, when I go to someone's home and they've done something really creative, with a bookshelf or like with a space that is unused under a staircase, let's say.
Sure,
I mean,
like any of those nook ideas that, we often see these really, if you stand back, you can see these geometric shapes, like, for example, under a stairway, there's an angle that looks really sort of cool, but it's unused oftentimes. I've seen great, and done these too, these great built-ins that are going up the staircase along with you, where it's shallow shelving sort of mocks the same shape as that triangle that becomes that staircase when you look at it from a distance. So as you're walking up the stairs, you've got these little shadow boxes, if you will, where you can feature great little art pieces, books even, and it's easy to do because you're just making cubbies essentially following the same shape of that wall, right? So that's a great use of space that otherwise wouldn't be utilized. Yeah. Also things like stylized angular shelving for shoes. So it almost looks like retail space, right?
Neat.
You want to have things at a slight angle with a piece of 1x wood going across the front to hold the shoes in place, and you're building sort of a little angle so that it's you can easily see the shoes that you're trying to find in your closet.
Finally.
Yeah, finally, right? And I mean, any time that you can maximize the configuration of the existing closet you already have, it's going to be very beneficial for you. For example, the top shelf in closets are generally really difficult to maximize because it's at about 6 foot, because that's where the clothes hang from, and then above you've got another 2.5 feet of space, where oftentimes we just cram a bunch of stuff up there that ends up falling down on us and we can't see our inventory. So think of it like a retail store, right? How do they do it? Well, if you're working in a shoe store, you go back and there's 300 boxes of shoes. Guess what? They're all stacked up and labeled and organized that way. So keep your shoe boxes. Don't throw them out when you get the shoe boxes. And again, draw on the side of the box with a Sharpie. Leather pumps, red, great with the blue dress.
I love your red pumps.
Thank you very much. They're big, I'll tell you that, big and red. And you know, anytime you can stack things organizationally, it's to your benefit.
Get it off the ground.
You get
right?
it off the ground. You see them. They're in the box. Don't throw the box away. If people always throw them away, and then what happens? You pile them on the floor, and you've got this chaos on the bottom of the closet. So yeah, that's a great thing to do. Also, the washing machine and dryer area, the laundry room facility, I think we always miss opportunity with that area because folding tables are essential in great laundry rooms. That's sort of the critical key component to them. Once you put the laundry in, you pull it out and you take it upstairs, dump it on the bed and fold it there. Why not have a table or a space where you can fold it in the laundry room itself? So think about your washer and dryer side by side. They're just sitting there with untapped potential. Why? Because what you could do is get a piece of plywood or a pre-finished countertop and literally lay it across the top of the washer and dryer, but elevate it slightly so you can access the controls if you have to, obviously.
Sure.
And then buy these pre-existing legs that they sell at any home improvement store, so that you've got what's called a ledger in the back of the washer and dryer, which is a piece of 1x2 wood that's going to be hung level in the very back of the wall. And then your legs in the front, and you're going to just essentially plop this countertop down on the ledger in the back, the legs in the front. It's up off the washer and dryer. Now you've got folding, you've got your washer and dryer below, you've got an efficient, ergonomically designed laundry room that people will kill you for because it's so great.
Because it's very, very relaxing.
It's functional.
To be able to get, things done in the laundry room.
You know what I mean?
I love that.
Isn't that helpful?
Very cool.
That's what I'm trying to convey here. Also, if you're designing a kitchen, for crying out loud, make the garbage can an integral part of that space. And I've seen some great ways to do this. And what I love mostly is if you've got a drawer that's a huge drawer for your recycling and your garbage on both sides. But guess what? You've cut a circular hole in the top of the counter so that becomes a place where you can do your chopping and then instantly swipe everything right into the garbage
and it
can
slides
below.
right in. It's a chute.
It's essentially a garbage chute, and then you just open that big slider drawer, which is very utilitarian. It just looks like a cabinet panel with a handle on it, and that's how you empty your trash. So it's 2 circular cutouts for garbage cans that go in the drawer, that pushes in, and then the top of the counter is a hole cut out in the marble or whatever countertop you use. And boy, I'll tell you, it's functional. It makes that whole shopping process so much easier. I don't know about you, but that works for me.
Now, something that I've really fallen in love with is the idea of these sliding shutters. We've seen several different examples of how it can be peekaboo. Like, this is a way to hide your TV. We've talked about this as a way to, to dress up your entertainment center and plasma, and these sliding shutters, well, look, there's no TV. Now it's open, and there is.
That's right.
But how about doing that in your home office so that you can accommodate a couple of offices that can be concealed when people come over?
Sure. You're talking about the incredible closet office,
yes.
maybe?
Yeah.
You know what? That's such a great idea because closets, if they're in a guest room, for example, and they're not really used that much, what you can end up doing is making the closet an office area. So when you pull the doors back or you open the closet door, you've got a desk height piece of wood with a 1x2 facing on it, or you can buy a pre-built desk that fits in the closet. And then there's a shelving system above, about 20 inches off the desktop. And then all your electronics are in there, your printer, it's all wired efficiently. And then when you're done working, you push the chair in and shut the closet door, or you open it up when you want to do your work there. And that becomes such a great opportunity for hidden office space that you didn't think you had before.
I mean, really, there's so many things that we can do to create built-in storage that gives it almost like, this was a complete remodel, right?
That's it. Yeah, exactly right.
Eric Stromer, Cindy Dole, you're listening to Home Wizards. Be sure to check us out at yourhomewizards.com.